and welcome to my channel, Talisman Tarot. In this reading I will be gathering information about your future boyfriend. And so this will be group number 1, this will be group number 2, this will be group number 3, this will be group number 4, this will be group number 5, this will be group number 6, and this will be group number 7. And so let's proceed to the reading. Group number 1, you chose this Labradorite. So I will start with a channeled message. So I think this person might have rather big ears and thin lips and thick eyebrows. He might also wrinkle his eyebrows a lot, which might give him a bit of a mean look, but I don't think he is mean at all. I think he might be more worried. He might have a very serious look to him. So, but let's draw some cards. So 5 of Cups, that makes sense. Knight of Wands, Knight of Cups, 10 of Swords, Queen of Wands. Okay, so I think he might be quite worried, as I said before. I think, or he might have a, I don't know, with the Queen of Wands and the Knight of Wands, he could be an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. But I think he could also be a bit disconnected from his own emotions. He could be the type who likes to keep himself busy to escape his emotions. He's probably the type who is quick to find an excuse if the conversation becomes just a bit too emotional. I think he is a bit scared of his own emotions. He's probably the type who takes his phone with him to the bathroom because he is afraid that if he sits just 1 second alone with his own thoughts, something unpleasant will come up in his mind and he won't be able to deal with it. So I think he's someone who escapes a lot. He could also be prone to addictions with the Knight of Cups here. Like he could abuse alcohol. Not that he's doing that right now, but maybe if I think when he opens the gate to his emotions and discover something unpleasant, he will try to seal that gate with alcohol. And so I'm not seeing that. I'm not saying that he's an alcoholic right now, but if he were to keep on suppressing his emotions and for a long time, he might be prone to develop some addiction in the future. But and with the 10 of Swords here, I think he might have quite a few demons he's struggling with, and so he could also be a Scorpio. I don't know why, but well, with the Knight of Cups, of course. But he's, I do sense that he's more of a fire sign, but he could have Scorpio in some placement in his natal chart, or he could have. Sorry, what's the house for Scorpio? Gosh, sorry, I don't remember. But so the house for Scorpio, I'm so sorry, I can't remember it right now. But that house could be in his sun. His sun could be in that house that is Scorpio. So maybe I'm going on a limb here. Sorry. So if you've met this person before, you might think of him as a bit standoffish. You might even have had experiences with him where you actually considered him to be quite rude. Maybe you talked to him at a party and you asked him about his feelings, not for you, but for just feelings in general. Maybe you asked him an emotional question, something about maybe something private, something about his family, or just his feelings towards something, and he might have just left the conversation. He might not even have said goodbye or where he was going. He just left in the middle of the conversation, and you might have taken this quite personally, that he didn't want to talk to you or that he didn't like you. But I don't think that is the case at all. I just think he escaped because he couldn't face his own emotions. I see that you might be someone who has no problem talking about emotions. You seem like a very loving and caring person, and so I think you might be quite frightening for someone like him at first, because you cut right to the chase without much warning. You ask people how they feel. You ask them what is on their mind, what is troubling them. You're not afraid to ask people both personal and emotional questions. So, well, if you already know this person, I think he might already have his eyes on you. But he is probably also purposely distancing himself from you. He's afraid of coming too close to you. You might have noticed that he looks at you from afar, but every time you try to approach him, he walks away. And I think this is because he secretly wants you to open the gate for him, but he's afraid of what will come out, and maybe also afraid that he won't be able to close the gate again. He might feel like you're even provoking him, that you're intentionally poking him in the hopes that he will have an emotional reaction. For some of you, this person might be very rational and logical. He could have become this way from suppressing his emotions his whole life, but he could also just have been born this way. And so I think you two might be quite you might be polar opposites. He is rational, and you might be a bit on the more emotional side, and I think you will actually complement each other quite well, and so you might even be able to help him, like if he's in academia, he will actually benefit from your help, because he might be really skilled at understanding and coming up with theories, ideas, and concepts, but he doesn't really understand the people involved, and he doesn't understand how to communicate his ideas to an audience, because in order to anticipate people's reactions, you have to be able to anticipate their emotions, and in order to do that, you have to understand their emotions. And so I think he can benefit from someone like you, because I see that you might actually be really good at communicating, and in return he will be able to help you too. He will be able to help you organize some of your thoughts. You might have a mild case of ADD. Maybe it's because you are an empath and you have a tendency to get distracted by other people's emotions, and so he might not be, well, I'm not saying he's going to help you block these distractions coming in. That is something you need to work on yourself, but he might be able to get you back on track if you should get distracted. If you're having a conversation with this person and you forget what you were talking about because you got distracted by something else, he will be able to remember what you were talking about. Like, if you would ask him, what was I talking about? He will always be able to answer you that, because I think he's quite attentive, really. Even though he might not seem that way at first, but I think he will be the type who, if you're in a group of people and you are explaining something and you get interrupted, he will make sure that you get to finish your story. I'm not saying that he's going to be rude about it. He's not going to pick a fight with this person, but he might wait patiently for the person to finish the story that they started when they interrupted you, and then he might say something like, well, after he's finished, he might say something like, before you got interrupted, you were saying something interesting. And so even though he might not be the emotional type, I think he will be quite attentive, which you will like. I also think he has a great memory, even if the person interrupting you would tell a story that took an hour to get through. I still think he would remember what you were saying right before the person started interrupting you. But I also think for some of you, he can become a bit impatient with you, especially when you talk one-on-one. He might have a tendency to wrap the conversation up. If he thinks you're describing something in too many unimportant details, he will try to rush it along and like say, so what you're saying is blah blah blah, and well, the blah 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 part, of course, being the thing you were talking about, not blah blah blah, actually. Sorry, you know, and sometimes I actually think you will appreciate this, because sometimes he will manage to organize your thoughts by doing this, because I think your brain might be a bit chaotic at times, and so I think when someone listens attentively to your stories and explanations and then repeat them back to you in an oversimplified version, you get a better understanding of what you were explaining. I think you both are actually really smart, and I think you complement each other because you are smart in two completely different ways. I think you have the more original ideas, you are the creative one, and you think outside the box, but you might have a tendency to jump from idea to idea, and as soon as you get a new idea, you tend to forget the last one you had, and I think this person will remind you about your previous ideas. He will maybe also encourage you to finish what you started. He might also be annoyingly realistic at times, and this is maybe something you have to be on the lookout for, because he might discourage you from following your dreams if he thinks they are unrealistic, and you shouldn't let him do that, because I see with the Knight of Cups, he can become controlling if you let him. Like, you can see how this person is riding on top of this horse that is a woman, and so he might have a tendency to become, well, if you let him, he might become controlling. But if you don't let him, I don't think that's a problem, because, well, like a horse, you can just you have the strength and the power to actually fight back if you actually don't want him to rule you. But I think it's not that he's controlling. It's not that that he means this in a bad way. I just think he's with the Five of Cups here. I think he worries too much. Like, he's the type who sees the glass half empty all the time. So for some reason I thought of my brother, and growing up, when my mother would do practical things around the house, like hang up curtains or something like that, she didn't always know how to do it, and she didn't always have the right tools to do it, and she would always think of some creative solution, and my brother would always stand in the background, not helping her at all, and just repeating over and over again, "It's not going to work, it's not going to work, it's not going to work." And well, it always worked. So I think this person might be a bit like that. My brother always thought that there was only one correct way to do things, and so every other way would be considered incorrect in his eyes. My brother is, by the way, a Leo, so I get so maybe that's why I thought of him, because maybe this is a Leo, because there is quite a few lions on these pictures. So I think it's quite likely that this person is a Leo, and so. But well, I think all in all, this is a good person for you. I think he will ground you, and I think you will especially be great for him, because I think you will help him deal with a lot of suppressed emotions. Also, if you're looking for a shoulder to cry on, this is not the guy for you. He will probably be the annoying type who will try to fix your problems or give you advice when actually you just need someone to tell you that people are assholes and life is unfair. And so that's how he is. So, but all in all, I think he's a good guy. I think, and so that's what I see for you, group number 1. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye. Group number 2. So you chose this clairaudience vulcanite stone, and so I will start with a channeled message before I proceed to the cards. And so I think this person is really kind and approachable. He might be a bit shy though. For some reason I get a Pisces energy from him. I think he might be a bit insecure. He might seek validation from others. He might also have a tendency to compare himself to others and put himself down because he's not as social and confident as other people. He might be the type who looks at others like dancing and having a great time, and he thinks to himself that he wished he could be more like them. He might also have had parents growing up who always wanted him to be more like the other children. Maybe he was a bit of a geek and liked to stay at home and play video games. So maybe when he looks at others dancing today, he might still be influenced by his parents to think he has to be like them, that everything would be better if he was just more like others. So I think when you meet this person, if you haven't met him already, he will think that you are too good for him. So I think you should be prepared that when you start dating this person, you will need to validate him quite a lot. Like if you went on a date with this person, he might ask you in the middle of the date how the date is going. Also, when you become intimate, he will probably ask you for feedback in the middle of the act. He will ask you every time he changes positions or does something differently if it's good for you. And so in a way that's really considerate, but really I just think he's afraid of making mistakes, but he is still considerate. I think he wants you to feel good. He is a selfless lover. His number one priority will be you. You might have to help him build his self-esteem up, and also as he is introverted, maybe to the point where he isolates himself because the outside world is too overwhelming for him. You might have to push him a bit. I know that sounds bad. I know we shouldn't change people because there's of course nothing wrong with with being an introvert, but I think he will actually benefit from exposing himself more socially, because he might be the type who could end up isolating himself completely to the extent where he would be afraid of leaving the house. But that being said, this person is an extremely good and kind-hearted person. He will also be very aware of your emotions. He will sense if something is bothering you. He will be really understanding and caring and considerate towards you, maybe to the extent where he might ask you over and over again if you are all right, which may bother you a bit, but you might have to listen to him when he is concerned about you, because maybe he actually picks up on something you are suppressing or in denial about. So, but let's draw some cards. So, King of Wands, Wheel of Fortune, the Hierophant, Ace of Pentacles, and the Hermit. So with the Hermit, that makes sense. I think he has a tendency to be a bit of to go into hermit mode at times. He might isolate himself really easily, and so with the King of Wands here, I sometimes associate this with a fable in La Fontaine. It was about two Hancocks who were in love with the same girl. They decided to wrestle for her, and the winner would get the girl. And so they wrestled, and the lucky winner of the battle was really cocky about winning. So he would scream it from the rooftop that he had won, and so a vulture heard his cocky screaming and killed him. And so the girl went to the loser after all, and even though he lost the fight, he won the girl. And I sometimes see the King of Wands as the loser who ended up winning by default, because all his opponents died from their cockiness, and because he's so all his limbs are replaced with wood, and you can see that also his crown is wooden as well, and so he has the crown, but he has earned it in the hard way by losing a lot, and losing actually until one day he would win. Like, if that makes sense. I'm not sure it does, but so I think this person is the loser who gets the girl because all the winners are cocky, and I think like all the other guys are being confident and this doesn't actually help them win the girl. And so by being humble, he actually ends up winning. This sounded a lot smarter in my mind, sorry. But I think he is patient. He's also a great shoulder to cry on. He's the type who probably has been friend-zoned a lot in the past. He might be the type women reach out to if they have problems with their boyfriends. And maybe that's how he actually wins the girl by actually being that nice guy who listens to the girl's problems until one day the girl realizes that the nice guy, the guy for her were actually just right in front of her. Like, you know, those cheesy movies where it's always the nice guy who gets the girl in the end because, well, the girl first goes after the bad guy, the hot mysterious guy who ends up hurting them, and so they run crying back to the nice guy and realizes that the friend-zoned guy was actually their soulmate all along. You know, sorry, but so I think with the Wheel of Fortune here, that also makes sense. I think he is quite lucky in that way. I think he, well, he's also unlucky because, well, he does get friend-zoned a lot, but I think he has a tendency to win, well, because the universe kind of has a thing for him. Like the universe seemed to like him, and so the universe always checkmate all his opponents so that he will end up being the winner. Also, I think with the Wheel of Fortune, sometimes I look at it as someone who yo-yos in weight, so that might be significant for you. But with the, well, also with the Hierophant, here the Hierophant is Taurus, and sometimes Taurus have weight issues. So that might also be why his parents wanted him to play sports instead of playing video games as a child. Maybe he's always been a bit on the heavier side. But also the Hierophant is extremely loyal and traditional. He's marriage material, really. He's the type you can settle with. He could also have a religious background, or he might even study to become a priest. But I think mostly it's that he's just a good guy, loyal, and so with the Ace of Pentacles, I think he's a great opportunity for you. He's a very stable and secure choice, and I think you will be prosperous together. So that's what I see for you, group. Well, keep up with the hermit here. Keep on the lookout for that, that he doesn't isolate himself too much. And so, but that's what I see for you, group number 2. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and well, also he could be a Virgo, of course. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye. Group number 3, you chose this Azurite, and I will start with a channeled message, and then I will proceed to the cards. So, well, I see him wearing a cap on his head, you know. He doesn't have to, though. I actually think it's more a symbol, really. For me, the cap represents someone who doesn't take things too seriously. If he is in school, he might be a bit of an underachiever, someone who only does what is required of him and not much more than that. And I think you actually might be polar opposites. You might be a bit of an overachiever, and so maybe you will consider this person to be a slacker. And I think he will perceive you as someone who's hiding their true self, someone who needs to let loose and relax more. Where you are actually the perfect match, because he will teach you how to relax, and you might be able to teach him how to be more serious. But I think he might start to annoy you at some point, because he always wants to take the easy way out, and he will probably also do that in your relationship. For example, if you seem mad about something, he will be the type who would rather ignore you until you stop being mad, instead of approaching you and asking you what is wrong. And he will probably try to steer clear of any conflict, not because he's afraid of conflict, but because conflicts might require something of him. He might need to make an effort to solve them, and I think he likes when things are just easy. I think, well, I don't think this person is a bad person, but his laziness can actually become toxic in a way. Like, I think when you start a relationship and you start speaking your mind and start setting healthy boundaries, he will probably get mad at you and accuse you for being someone a troublemaker, a drama queen, someone, and this reaction will lead you to believe that he is a controlling narcissist. But actually, I just think he is lazy. He wants everything to be easy and uncomplicated. Well, it is a bit narcissistic and controlling in a way, because he wants things to be easy for himself. He doesn't want to make an effort to make other people happy, but he probably would want to make others happy if he could do it in a way that didn't require any effort on his part. So, well, maybe this is a karmic relationship. Maybe this relationship will be quite short, and maybe the only purpose of this relationship will be to teach you to let loose and relax more, because well, maybe you are a bit too hard on yourself, and maybe you're overworking yourself, and so maybe this more happy-go-lucky approach will actually benefit you in your life. And also, if you are afraid that you will never be able to relax and be yourself in a relationship, I think you will find that you can actually be yourself with this person. I think you will realize that you don't need to prove yourself to this person or impress this person, and so you don't need to act in a certain way around this person, which I think will be quite nice and relaxing for you. I also think this this person is a really, really bad listener, like a really bad listener, and so you will probably realize that you shouldn't be afraid of sounding stupid in front of him, because he will probably not listen. And if he listens, he will probably forget it right away. And, well, this sounds bad, but I dated someone like that once, and it was actually quite liberating. It was like talking to a wall in a way, which doesn't sound good at all, but it actually was, because I could say whatever came to my mind. But, well, his bad listening skills was also what ended the relationship, because once, okay, so this is, sorry for oversharing, but once when we had sex, he started hurting me, and I asked him to stop, and he didn't listen to me, and it was not a pleasant experience. And, well, of course it was rape actually, but he explained afterwards that it was because he wasn't listening. And, well, that of course sounds like a cop-out, but I kind of believe him, because he never really listened to me ever. So why should he even have listened to me then? Like, so beware of that. So I think you might be drawn to this happy-go-lucky personality. He might also be very simplistic and even animalistic, which might be quite new and exciting for you at first, but, well, don't hang in there for too long, because he might be too selfish. He will not pay attention to you or your needs, and he will be a bit childish as well. He will probably pay no attention to you while you're in the relationship, but if you end the relationship, he will probably stalk you in order to win you back, because he is a bit of a child. He only wants what he can't have. But let's draw some cards. So, Queen of Wands, the World, Two of Swords, Knight of Swords, Knave of Swords. So, with the Queen of Wands, it says Rachel, and that's Raphael, right? The female version of the name Raphael. And Raphael is the archangel of healing, and so maybe this person is a healer, or maybe he's meant to heal something in you, but He could also be a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries. So with the World here, he could be a traveler. He might also live quite far from you. This might be a long-distance relationship, but also since the World is about endings, there is a possibility that this person is actually an ex, someone you were with in the past, and with the Two of Swords, that also makes sense, because on the picture there is two people reconciling, and so maybe you will reconcile with an ex. And with the Knight of Swords, it is actually likely he did something similar to you as the person I talked about before did to me. Maybe he overstepped your boundaries, and maybe he did it because he wasn't paying attention or listening to you. And so maybe you will forgive him because you will realize that his actions weren't evil, they were just extremely stupid. But I wouldn't recommend you to actually reconcile with this person. Well, it's your life, of course. And with the Knave of Swords, it says, I never know how to pronounce this. O'Shea or O'Gier or O'Share or O'Shea. Sorry, I don't know, but so with the I live in Denmark, and we had this statue called O'Shea or O'Shea, the Dane, Holger Danske, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it in French or English or whatever, but the funny thing about this statue is that no one really knows who the dude was and what he did. We just know that there is a statue, and well, since there's a statue, he must have been somewhat important, and so I think this person is kind of like that. I think this person has become a statue in your mind, like somehow you can't seem to get him out of your mind, but he didn't do anything special. You can't remember one single positive thing he did to earn this spot in your mind. But he must have done something special, something significant, since you can't get him out of your mind, and so maybe you should give him a chance just to figure out what that thing was. And also there is a myth about that statue. That statue will turn to flesh and blood if the country should get attacked, and so maybe the memory you have of him is a bit similar to that. Maybe the memory of him only turns to life when you feel sad or angry, when you feel like life is unfair, then you might turn to the memory of him for comfort, and you might not know why that is, because he was probably an annoying piece of garbage, really, when you were together, but maybe you weren't attracted to him as a person. Maybe you were attracted to his energy. Maybe his energy was healing for you. He might actually be an energy healer. So also, I know it's not, I know O'Shea, like the Ogier, whatever, O'Shea, yeah, this, if you can see it, the spelling here, I'm not sure you can see it, but, well, it does look a bit like the spelling of ogre. Well, of course, different, but and so maybe it could be a bit like an ogre, like Shrek, and well, Shrek is a selfish prick, but somehow he's likable. Somehow he manages to be a very lovable character, and so maybe he has that quality to him where even though he is a bit of a selfish prick and someone who, well, does a lot of stupid things all the time, he might have this quality to him where you just like him, where he's so lovable that you forgive him for all the stupid things he does. It's so, but that's what I see for you, group number 3. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye. Number 4, you chose this amethyst. So I will start with a channeled message, and then I will proceed to the cards. And so I get a sense that this person is quite feminine. So this could be a female. So for some of you, this person could actually be a girlfriend. But since this is a reading about your future boyfriend, I will be talking about this person as a male, even though it is quite likely that this could be a female. So regardless of gender, just take what resonates. So this person might have long hair, but it could also just be shoulder length, or not even shoulder length. It could be a bit shorter than that, but if it's a male, it's a bit long for a male, and he might have feminine features, like prominent cheekbones. He might also have a bit of a crooked smile, or where he might smile have like a half smile, where he smiles with only one side of his mouth. I think this person could be a student. He could study something to do with science or technology. But let's draw some cards. So, Queen of Cups, 4 of Pentacles, 9 of Wands, the High Priestess, the Priestess reversed, King of Wands reversed, 5 of Pentacles reversed, 3 of Swords, and the Lovers. So So with the Queen of Cups here, it could be a water sign, a Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio. Could also be a Gemini with the Lovers here. So I get a Pisces energy from this person, though. I think this person could be a bit guarded with the Nine of Wands and also the Four of Pentacles. He might share very little of himself with others. Like if he's in a field of science, he might be reluctant to actually talk about his field with others, and I think it might be because he actually has based a lot of his own self-image on what he does for a living, and so I think if he was to share that with others, that would pose a threat to his self-image. If that makes sense, he might also be the type who really he shouldn't be a teacher really, because if he was to share his knowledge with others, he would feel like he was sacrificing a part of himself. He is probably the type who would rather show people the end result than give them a peek into his process and methods. He might also be overly paranoid that people will steal his ideas, and so I think he might come across as very secretive and mysterious. Also, if you are psychic yourself, this person might take a distance from you or keep you on a distance at first, because I think this person feels like psychics would pose a huge threat to this person. He's already a bit paranoid, and the idea of someone reading his mind is quite scary to him, which is a bit silly, but since I think this person is quite rational, and so you would think that this person probably wouldn't believe in psychics and the spiritual world, and if you would ask him, he would probably say that he doesn't, but that I think there is some part of him that can't really deny the possibility, and that scares him. He might actually be a psychic himself, and he might have suppressed that side of him a lot, to the extent where he's actually very he might come across as really against spirituality. Like if someone were to talk about spirituality, he would probably not take part in that discussion. He would probably be very opposed to it. Like he would maybe even become quite. He would seem very against it in a way, like he has something against it, and so but maybe because he is a bit too paranoid to really come to terms with the fact that some people have the ability to know well-kept secrets about others. I think that's one of the reasons why maybe that's because he actually has the ability himself to know things about others that he shouldn't know, and so the thought scares him that others might be able to do that to him as well, and since he's even reluctant to share his share his expertise with others, that but maybe well, the reason why he doesn't want to share his expertise with others might also be because he's afraid of sounding foolish. He's afraid of making mistakes. He's afraid of saying something inaccurate, really. And in a weird way, I think this makes him come across as quite judgmental, really. I think it is because he is the type who fears to say something wrong himself. He fears to talk about anything he is not 100% certain about, and so when others do that, he judges them for doing that, because he's judging them for doing what he doesn't dare to do himself. And well, maybe it's a bit of a chicken and egg situation. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Because I don't know if he's judgmental because people are doing something he doesn't dare to do himself, or if he doesn't dare to do it himself because he's so judgmental himself, and that he's certain that others would be just as judgmental towards him as he is towards others. And so I also think with the High Priestess reversed, I think he might have a fear of the unknown. He's afraid of what he doesn't know yet. So that might also be the reason why he's afraid of sharing his knowledge with others, because he's afraid that one day he will learn something that will make him realize that all he had been telling others were actually wrong. Like, you know, when someone corrects you for using a word in a wrong way several times, or you know, if people correct you for using a word and you know that you've been using this word several times before, and then you think of all those instances where you used it wrong, and you just think about all the people who must have thought you were a complete idiot for using that word wrong, and so you beat yourself up about it. I think this person does that a lot. I think this person might experience cringe attacks a lot, and I think it is really hard for him, because I think this person really wants to come across as really smart, and it devastates him if he doesn't come across as smart, and in a way it is a part of his identity to be smart. And so if he realizes that he has said something stupid that made him look like an idiot, this breaks down a part of his identity. So it is really tough on him, even to the point where he is reluctant to share anything that he is not completely sure of, something that he could not possibly, well, he won't share anything that he could possibly regret in the future. So I think he will only participate in discussions if he is completely certain about what he talks about. And so I think this person, as he is represented by the King of Wands reversed, I think I think this person has to realize that, well, I think he wants to be I think his self-image doesn't match with his true self. He might overestimate himself at some points and underestimate himself at others. He might have unrealistic goals for himself. He wants to be a king of wands, upright, but a respected and successful man. But this person, well, he has to realize that he can't achieve this without making mistakes, and that making mistakes is a part of the process, that you can only become wiser and more skilled if you make mistakes and learn from them. And I think this person will have a hard time doing that, because he breaks himself down every time he makes a mistake. He might even suppress the memory of all his mistakes because he can't deal with them, and that might result in him not learning from them. With the 5 of Pentacles reversed, I think when it's upright, it is someone out in the cold searching for the light within. I think when it's reversed, I think this person has found his light within, but he's struggling to let people in to witness it. He's not able to share his light with others. He doesn't let people in. I think he has a lot to offer the world, but with the 4 of Pentacles here, he is keeping it all for himself because he is afraid of sharing it. He is afraid that it will be judged, and he is afraid that it will get stolen. He's afraid that if he shares his light, it will be lost from him forever. And also, as I said before, I think for some of you this actually has to do with something spiritual as well, with the amethyst here also. I think also with the Queen of Cups, she's one of the most spiritual court cards, if not the most spiritual one. And so I think it could be his spirituality. He doesn't share with others. He keeps it for himself. But with the 3 of Swords here, I think for some of you, he might be in a relationship right now, and he might be with the Lovers here, he might have a decision. He has to make a decision, and so maybe he is in a relationship, and maybe he's thinking about pursuing you instead of his girlfriend right now. So maybe that's significant, but well, that's what I see for you, group number 4. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye. Group number 5, you chose this Numite, and so I think this person might have a talent for language and literature. So he might be a linguist, or a journalist, or a writer, a translator, an editor or language teacher, or he could also be a therapist or something like that. He might also be quite creative. He might like to paint or draw or play music or something like that. I think it's really charming. I think this person is very emotionally intelligent. He will probably have an interest in all fields concerning personal values, morals, and ethics. He could also study philosophy, or maybe he just likes to read books about philosophy in his spare time, and he might love to psychoanalyze people, but I don't think he does that frequently, because I don't think he wants to hurt people's feelings, and so he might even think that people who psychoanalyze others are extremely annoying and obnoxious, and he doesn't want to be like them, and so I think he keeps his psychoanalysis for himself. Maybe he shares his theories with his closest friends, which might be considered a bit gossipy, and maybe he actually is a bit gossipy, and maybe he also accidentally psychoanalyze people when he gets too drunk, and then he regrets it afterwards. I think this person is really good at it, though. Person has a deep understanding on people and emotional reactions. I think he needs to bite his tongue sometimes, because I think he really wants to ask people really personal and critical questions. Sometimes he might really want to ask people about their childhood and how their relationship was with their father, but he also knows that this would overstep people's boundaries, and so I think he is holding himself back a lot. But I think this person is genuinely curious about other people. He has a natural interest in others. He only means well when he seeks to unravel some of the mysteries that lies within the people he meet. I kind of like this dude. Well, if you're curious about his appearance, I think he might have curly hair with like an undercut, where the sides are shaved, and then there's curls on the top, and that is kind of a hipster haircut, and this deck is also a bit of a hipster deck, because everyone in this deck is kind of wearing like 80s and 90s clothes, and so that is quite in right now. So he might wear flower print shirts and high-waisted pants. He might also be quite thin. He might also have eyebrows that are quite close to each other, not a unibrow, but like close. And for some of you, this person might also have quite his eyes might not be 100% symmetrical. He might not look in the complete same direction. His eyes doesn't look in the same direction completely. I'm not. It's like slightly, I think. But let's draw some cards. So the Hanged Man reversed, the Moon, here, the Strength, Death, Two of Cups. So I think he could be a Leo, could also be a Pisces, a Leo, of course, with the Strength, and Pisces with the Moon. He could also be a Scorpio with Death, and so with the Hanged Man reversed, I think there's something very, very interesting about this card, because it's, if you look at it, it somehow makes me think of Narcissus looking at his own mirrored image, but reversed. The mirrored image is looking at him. I don't know exactly what I should read out of that. It sounds deep. So maybe this is too deep for me to really comprehend, and maybe it's a sign that he might be deeper than me. But I believe his mind is quite occupied with philosophy, and I've read some philosophy, and without getting into much details, sorry for some. I think this many philosophers talk about subject and object, and this person could also study cognitive science, but when we psychoanalyze ourselves, we are a subject perceiving ourselves as an object, so we become a subject and an object at the same time, and there's something about that, something smart, but I don't remember right now what it is, but he can probably explain it better than I can. So I think what makes him really good at psychoanalyzing others is because he has become quite trained at being a subject object. He has probably used a lot of time, a lot of time psychoanalyzing himself, and this time he has spent on that has made him really good at psychoanalyzing others. So like the picture is a woman looking at a mirrored image of herself. She is a subject perceiving her mirrored image as an object. She can now look objectively on herself. She can see that others see what others see, and when it's reversed, she has more. She has now become the mirrored image, looking at the flesh and blood. The object looking at the subject, and she can now look at others as the mirrored image, recognizing what she now has noticed about herself in others, if that makes sense. I think I described that in a much more complicated way than it actually had to be, and so I think he's interested in knowing how others perceive him, not in a narcissistic way. Also, like Narcissus, he was he's like oblivious. Like Narcissus was like oblivious to why people fell in love with him until he saw his own image, and then he fell in love with himself. And so maybe this person is a bit oblivious to how others perceive him, and maybe that is why he has devoted so much of his life to self-discovery. He wants to find out how others see him. He wants to. He might also be a life coach, actually, or maybe he will be in the future. He might be really good at helping others discover themselves as well, because he has spent so much time trying to discover himself. And so if he is studying psychology, that might also make sense, because like at least I've heard people say that, you know, that the majority of people studying psychology is actually just trying to figure out what is wrong with them, and so maybe he is a bit like that. Maybe he is and has been on this journey to self-discovery for quite a while, and maybe he will continue this journey for a few more years. And for some, I think some of you, I think this might be considered a bit self-centered, but I don't think he is self-centered at all, because I think he is just he might be just as determined to solve the mysteries in others as he is in his own, but well, maybe he is hoping that solving the mysteries within others will get him closer to solving his own mysteries. And well, so but I actually think he might snap out of it when he gets a child. I think when he gets a child, all his searching, soul searching will disappear. I think a child will put things in perspective for this person, because a child is actually a mirror of yourself. And so I think when he gets a child, he will no longer need to search for himself, because he will recognize himself in the child, and the child will look right back at him, and so the mirror will become the child. And so not in a bad way though, with the grandmothers here, which is the moon. I think he has a strong connection to his ancestors. Also with the Numite stone, it is one of the oldest stones, and it is said to contain a lot of ancient wisdom. And so I think maybe this person has ancestors who guide him a lot. He might also receive a lot of divine wisdom through his ancestors, and through his dreams as well. He might get a lot of visions in his dreams. He might be really spiritually connected. He might be intuitive and creative, and he might also be quite original, because many of his ideas might be gifted to him spiritually. He might not even realize that this about himself, because he could get visions, but since the vision card here is actually reversed, he might not realize that he is getting them. And so when he gets these spiritually gifted ideas and thoughts, he probably believes they are his own, which there is nothing wrong with. Actually, it is what most people think. So I think with the healing here, this is strength, and so I think this person has a lot of inner strength, but he might also be, with like this picture here, he might be an animal lover, which actually is quite surprising to me, because he doesn't seem that way, but maybe it's surprising to others as well. I think this person could also be vegan, but also I think on the picture there is, you can see that there's a child on the shoulder of this woman, and so I think this this person will be a really great dad. I think he will probably be the type who will carry his children on his shoulders a lot. And with the death card here, though, I think that has the word sunset on it. I think this person will experience a lot of sunsets in his life, a lot of deaths. He might have his moon in the 12th house. I think he will experience throughout his life a lot of periods of darkness, a lot of dark nights of the soul, a lot of sunsets that will lead him into moon periods. But in these moon periods, his ancestors will be present to guide him through them, and the sun will rise again, and he will rise with the sun and become wiser and stronger than before. I also see with the Two of Bowls, I think which is Two of Cups, I think he will be a loving partner. I think he will be very much in love with you. He will probably even want to marry you. But that's what I see for you, group number 5. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye. Hello, group number 6. I will start with a channeled message, and then I will proceed to the cards. And so I think this person rarely smiles. I think he has a very dissatisfied look on his face all the time. I think this person is really just easily dissatisfied with others. He might be difficult to impress, and he might be overly critical, and he might even be suspicious and skeptical towards others. He might always question others' intentions, and he might not trust easily. He might be a bit impatient with people. I think he is much more concerned with what others can do for him than what he can do for others. In that way, he might not be very sensitive or even empathetic towards others. He might have a tendency to see people as stepping stones to his own goals, and so I also think he might have no problem stepping on other people's dreams to achieve his own. And so, well, sorry, this is really negative, but maybe this is a karmic relationship. Well, I think when you start dating this person, you will notice that he doesn't want to waste his time or bother with someone if he is not sure that there is a future with them. I think he believes his own time is too valuable for that, and so I think he has no problem wasting your time. I think he might not offer you a commitment right away, but I think he will ask you for one. He wants to make sure that you are serious about the relationship, but yet he will not offer you the same reassurance. He will not give you a clear answer whether or not he wants a relationship with you. He might even be reluctant to confirm that you are even dating, and he will probably tell you over and over again that he needs more time to think, that he's not sure that you are the right for him, but on the other hand, he would become furious if he saw you flirting with someone else. He is that annoying guy. I bet we have all met a guy like this before, who wants to have the cake and eat it too, who wants to be in an open relationship with a girl where the relationship is only open on his end, so that he can do whatever he wants, but the girl can't. The girl has to be kept, a kept woman in a way, and he needs others to prove their worth to him, but he doesn't feel the need to prove his worth to others, and I think it is because he is completely incapable of seeing things from other people's perspective. He's just not able to empathize with others. He can't see that he needs to make an effort as well, that others won't be attracted to him if he doesn't do anything to attract them. This person will, for example, never try to please others. He doesn't understand the point of pleasing others. I think he is much the type who believes that other people's perception of him has nothing to do with him. That their perception is their problem. If people don't like him, then that doesn't have anything to do with him. That is just their opinion, and it has. And somehow he doesn't see that it has anything to do with him, and so if you get in a relationship with this person, I will wish you good luck, but I really hope you don't, because you will never be able to like, if he does something hurtful to you or oversteps your boundaries, he will just tell you that that's just how he is, and you can just take it or leave it. He will never change anything for another person. He will never change his behavior for another person even if the behavior is hurtful or harmful for it's like this person is just like the type who says, if you don't like the smell in the bakery, find another one. And so maybe he was a really spoiled child, because somehow he has this idea that everyone should love him just the way he is, that he doesn't have to change for anyone, and that he is perfect exactly how he is, and that he doesn't have to make an effort to get other people's approval, but somehow he believes that there is no limit for what he can demand of others, but others can't demand anything from him. he's the complete embodiment of a one-way street, and I kind of want to beat this person up. Sorry, I'm so really sorry, but he seems like garbage, really. But well, garbage people like him truly exist in the world. It is my theory that around the year 2000, probably a bit sooner than that, but child psychology took a bad turn. Before the year 2000, child psychology was influenced by hippies, making it all about being kind to each other and working together for a common goal. Mostly children were taught that they were stronger together, which was beautiful. Then there came this wave where we started focusing on the children as individuals, that they should live up to their fullest potential on their own, and suddenly we stopped teaching children that they were stronger together, and instead we teach them that they were stronger apart. And so this is extremely harmful, because it is creating this belief that others are there to serve you and not the other way around, that others are affecting you and you are not affecting others. And this is toxic. It creates these assholes who actually believe that everyone is placed on this earth to serve them, while teaching while teaching children to work together and help each other creates people who actually understands that they need to give something to receive something. And this wave in child psychology just taught children it also taught children to be to say no and create boundaries for themselves, and that they shouldn't sacrifice themselves for others, and that's all. That's fine and all, but it's not, though, because teaching children that they don't have to do things that they don't want to do, or just and it just creates this terrible thing where they feel like they don't have to do something just to make others happy, and it's just for the joys of seeing others happy. And so now little Lisa didn't have to play with Monica if she didn't want to, and she didn't have to have a reason, because suddenly it was just okay to say no. So I think this person has been taught this, and I think he just says no to people without any reason. If he doesn't want to do something, he just says no. He doesn't care if it might upset others, and also this child psychology wave also created. I don't think they anticipated that they would create two types of people, like the two types of children: the children who were raised by hippies and the children who were raised by scum. And so there's this one type who's been taught to give in order to receive, and now there's this new type of children who only has been taught to receive, and this is just bound to go wrong. And so if you're the type who has been taught to give in order to receive, that then keep away from this person, because then you will just experience disappointment after disappointment after disappointment, because he plays by other rules than you. And it's sad, really, because I see that this person is not happy. And I think that is a problem for many of these children or these people who were raised in this way, because, well, they weren't taught the joys of sacrificing yourself for others. We tend to use that, we tend to understand that in a negative way, that self-sacrificing is a bad thing, but it really isn't. Well, everything can become a bad thing if it's done in excess, but really going out of your way to make someone happy is one of the most wonderful things in the world. And these people are robbed from that experience. They will never get to experience being happy on other people's behalf. And instead of calling these people assholes, which I just did, I know, we should feel sorry for them, because they will never be able to form a true connection with others. But let's draw some cards. So, 4 of Cups, 7 of Cups, and the World. So I see that with the 4 of Cups, that makes sense. In right away, the image is of someone who are offered a cup, but he rejects it. He says no to the cup being offered to him, and I think that is quite fitting. He is someone who says no a lot. He is a person who believes that he has the privilege to reject others, that he can choose the people he wants in his life. Like I said before with Lisa on the playground, who can just refuse to play with Monica without offering any explanation, because she has been taught that she has the freedom and the privilege to choose who she wants to play with and who she doesn't want to play with, and that this is somehow her choice to make. And I hate this way of thinking, because I was taught to play with everyone that it is wrong to reject others, and the thought of rejecting others just makes no sense to me, really, because how can you know that you don't want to play with someone? Well, I was taught that sometimes it is the person you least expect to get along with who you will get along with the most. The person you will probably become best friends with, and so we should. I've been taught that we should give people the benefit of the doubt. I know this has its downside as well. I know that by not rejecting anyone and always giving people the benefit of the doubt, I put myself in a position of where I get rejected a lot by others, because I don't reject others, and so it's people are, well, everything has to end at some point, and so if I'm not the one rejecting, then others will be. And so but maybe if these people weren't taught that they had this privilege to reject everyone, I wouldn't maybe I wouldn't get rejected so often. And so, oh well, I don't know. I know it also causes me to stay in toxic relationships, because I keep giving people the benefit of the doubt. I keep giving people chances, and so I know that it can be it can be on it can turn unhealthy. It is healthy to say no as well and set boundaries for yourself. And so if you are like me, and then I actually understand why you will see the good in this person. You will probably give him the benefit of the doubt and search for the good in him. And on a more serious and sad note, you might not think you have the privilege to choose, that you should just be happy if someone chooses you, and that you're not in any position to be picky, and you might even feel that you don't deserve better than this person. And if that is the case, I will assure you that you can do a lot better than this person. You have the privilege to choose yourself. You can choose whoever you want, and you shouldn't give this person the benefit of the doubt, because I don't think he will ever prove his worth to you. And so stay away from this person. He needs someone who lacks empathy as well, someone he can coexist with, and you need someone you can connect with, and someone who can be giving towards you. I know I'm being really harsh, and I'm sorry, but this person just rubs me the wrong way. So with the Seven of Cups, I also think that, well, you can see that he has his goal, the castle on the top of the hill, and you can see that the road to the castle is covered in a thick fog, and I think he is the type who he doesn't realize that he doesn't see the road. He just sees the goal. He doesn't think of the work or effort he needs to put in. And so I think he might also be a bit delusional. He might have too unrealistic dreams, because he is so unable to calculate to calculate others into the equation. He might have too high demands of others, and he demands nothing of himself, and this will close a lot of doors for him. He might go to a job interview for his dream job, and he might blow it because instead of instead of talking about what he can do for them, he asks them what they can do for him. He might even have the audacity to tell them at the job interview that he needs 2 weeks off because he's going on a skiing trip or something like that, and so he might get in his own way a lot. And so in the end, this whole mindset of him not letting others limit him will actually be the very thing that will limit him. It's sad, really. And so he is blinded by towards the road leading to his dream. He doesn't understand that he needs to make an effort to get there, and so with the world here, I think for some reason I think of one of those jewelry boxes that play music when they are opened, and it's cute and all, but the point of the music is actually to alarm the owner if a burglar is trying to steal the jewelry inside. And I think this is a fitting description of how he is in a relationship. I think he makes no effort to make you happy, but as soon as he feels threatened by others, as soon as he feels like someone is trying to steal you, he puts on a show. He might be the type who shows no affection, but then if he sees you flirting with someone else, he might show up and put his arm around your shoulder and even kiss you in front of that person. But while no one is stealing you, he is just passive. He doesn't play any music or swirl around to keep you, but he will try to keep you by keeping his opponents away from you. So that's what I see for you, group number 6. I hope you will reject this person in the most brutal manner possible. But of course, it's your choice to make. But if you found this reading helpful in any way, I hope you will subscribe to my channel, and I hope that you will be watching my next reading, and hopefully my next reading will have a more uplifting message for you. And so, well, good day to you, and bye. Group number 7. So you chose this ametrine, and so I will start with a channeled message, and then I will proceed to the cards. And so I get a really good vibe from this person. I think this person is extremely sympathetic. This person seems kind and sincere, loyal and trustworthy. He might have a bit of a broad face. He might also be a bit on the chubbier side. He really, but I think he's just a really good person. He treats everyone fairly, and he is willing to sacrifice himself for others, but not in a way where it's harming him. He just really enjoys to help others and see others succeed. He might even be a really great teacher. I think this person gets genuinely happy on other people's behalf when others succeed. He doesn't have any envy or jealousy towards others when they succeed, and he will not feel like people owe him anything. If he helps them succeed, he will just be truly happy to see others happy. He knows that when you give to people and help people, eventually you will get some in return. And if the favor is not returned by the person he helped you, he believes the favor will be returned by the universe. Maybe he believes in Buddhism and so and karma. I also get the sense that this person could be Japanese, because he seems very humble, and or he doesn't have to be Japanese. He could also be from another Asian country, or maybe he just is a bit similar to Asians. The reason why I thought of Japan was because I read an article about Japanese customs once, and I don't really remember the details, but there was this part about a Japanese word. I can't pronounce it, but giri, something like that, and I don't really, but I don't know. Sorry, I probably pronounced that way off, but it should mean something like a social obligation, and to describe this word, there was this passage about two poor men, one poorer than the other. The less poor man offered have his money to the one who was more poor than him. It was not much, but the poorer man used the small amount of money to start a business, and this business earned him a lot of success, and he then had to repay the person who had been so kind to him, but he couldn't just repay him the small amount of money that he had given him, because the person had sacrificed half his money to him, and so he had to do the same for him. He had to share half of his fortune with him and offer him a high post in his business. And I think this person has a similar mindset, not quite that extreme, but I think he believes that if he helps others to wealth, some of that wealth will rub off on him in a way, in one way or the other. I also read somewhere that if you look at the Japanese language, you can see how humble they are. It kind of shines through their language, because they talk up to each other. I don't know if that's true, and I'm sorry that I'm talking about something I know so little about, but I think when people ask someone for something in Japanese, they ask up. I think in the article they use the example, can you give an apple down to me? And if they offer an apple to someone, they say, can I give this apple up to you? So I have no idea if that is true. If you are Japanese and I'm completely wrong, please feel free to correct me in the comment section. So I think this person knows that he needs to give in order to receive. I think this person is humble. I think this person will be giving and loyal towards you. He will also be extremely supportive of you. He will help you achieve your dreams. He will not be the type who will be jealous or jealous of your success, because he also knows that your success will benefit him, and also he will be genuinely happy on your behalf. He doesn't care much about fame and recognition himself. In a way, he is like a muse. He likes to help others succeed, and he likes to do it behind the scenes. But let's draw some cards. So, Knight of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles, Two of Swords. So, with the Knight of Pentacles, he could be a Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. Also, since this card is called the Lord of Wild, of the wild and fertile land, and there is crops also in the picture. Also with Seven of Pentacles, and so I think this person is waiting for the right moment to harvest, and so I think it is quite fitting. I think he is someone who patiently plants the seed and watch them grow. He plants seeds and watch them grow. I think he makes sure to plant seeds everywhere, hoping that the seeds he plants will help, will grow into big plants, and then he waits patiently and hopes that one day he will benefit from the plants greatness. Planting seeds is also hit and miss, sometimes they grow to become a plant, sometimes they don't, and so I think this person also knows that this is a part of the game, but I also think I also just see that this person is very patient with you. He will be patient with you. He will be very willing to make an effort to make the relationship work with you, and he will probably do a lot of things for you that you won't notice right away. He's the type who doesn't need instant gratification. He likes to do things that needs more effort and time, because he knows that these things have the best payoff. He's also not the type who takes the easy way out. With the Two of Swords, I think this person is quite balanced and in harmony as well. I also think this person could be a really good diplomat. I see a bit of a Libra in him as well, maybe Libra in Mercury, but he might be really good at restoring peace. He might be good at stopping conflicts in arguments. He might be good at sorting out any misunderstandings, and he might be able to make the people involved see things from their opponent's perspective. So that's what I see for you, group number 7. I think this person is a gem, and I hope you will value him, because gems like him are really rare to come by, and I think he's a good one. And I hope you enjoyed this reading, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye.